our founder flames. This right here is an embodied form of the violet ray spectrum. Tap in and tune in Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern, live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Grand Rising with ChristoLight, your sacred space for discovering the Ascended Masters in crystal healing. Ashe.
Stop chasing separate answers. Discover the single truth beneath them all. What if unity is the map to your meaning? Tune in. Welcome back. I'm ChristoLight. The law of one says everything is one consciousness expressing itself. Not metaphors, a framework. Each star is a facet of a single source. Each stone is a facet of a single source. Each soul is a facet of a single source. For us, that means ego is a lesson, not a failure. Separation is a lesson, not a failure. Growth comes when we choose compassion over conflict, choose service over self-centeredness, choose curiosity over fear. In this episode, we'll break down 3 keys: unity, polarity, reincarnation as classroom. You'll get simple practices to feel connection right away. Breath reflection. Subscribe. Hit the bell. Let's rise together. Grand Rising.
Welcome. Grand day, everyone. How are we this rising? All right. So as we move into the space today, we're going to open up on this grand rising or grand day to you. We're going to open up with a oracle card from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. It's also a good time too, if you haven't this rising, to take a moment and take a pause. Take a few breaths into your body. Maybe you let go of whatever it is you may be doing in this moment. And just allow yourself to breathe, center, ground, clear your body so you can feel the divinity of this moment. All right, let's see what the oracle has for us today. Wow, look at that. The theme has been continuing since last night. Our guide for today is Ra. R-A, Ra. How funny is that? Ra is a powerful force, I tell you, man. So last night, I'm live doing my Ascending Beyond Limitations Raw Material Law of One book study. Now, this book is about channelings from Ra. These different people, these different humans, they channel Ra, they do a questionnaire, and not only that, but they write 5 different books based off of the channels that they get. Now, Ra is a higher dimensional density complex. Ra resides in a higher frequency octave than the 3rd dimension. So Ra is able to help guide humanity through these lower dimensions due to the experiences that Ra has had on its soul journey as well. And that's why now Ra is an ascended master, or ascended energy, that we see throughout all of time and all of different civilizations. Wow. This force is speaking very loudly. Last night I pulled a card at the very end of the live, and it was the Eye of Ra card in a podcast space that was about the raw material. And then this rising, we're talking about the Law of One today. And Ra comes through the Oracle card today. These are things that you cannot make up in this life. And it really just shows how threaded and how woven we are with the divine intelligence. How fascinating. Ra. All right, Ra is number 4. Let's see what they have to say in the book. All right, so Ra is vitality, glory, and creation. The sun god Ra is all-powerful. The ancient Egyptians believed that the sun was reborn every morning, or every rising, I should say, and that the god Ra, in his aspect of Khepri, was the power behind each new dawn. Because of this, they viewed him as a god of creation, rebirth, and renewal. He is associated with abundance, power, wealth, prosperity, security, and stability. Ra's golden power kept Egypt prosperous and well-fed, making it a force to be reckoned with in the ancient world. In a card spread, Ra indicates that you are coming into a time of power and prosperity. Your light is golden right now, and all that you touch will reflect this power. You have the Midas touch. Whatever you turn your hand to at this time is likely to become fruitful, but you still need to work hard for your achievements. This predicted prosperity is especially likely if the riches card is also present within the same spread. A time of great abundance is heralded with the turning of both of these cards. Ra also indicates that this is a time for you to shine, to step into your power, use your talents, and pursue your ambitions. It could be that you will suddenly become the center of attention, all eyes on you. Enjoy the spotlight and feel the glory. Ra shines his light upon you now. The power of the sun, the power of the Father, the divine masculine. All bees to the glory of the Most High that we are. Ra. Wow. These spaces are magical, no matter how many guests, how many viewers. The divine magic will always surpass numbers. If you're ready to receive, you're ready to receive. Ra. We're going to go ahead and keep Ra out for the rest of this time. He's going to sit right by us. Ooh. Wow. What a way to start. So we're actually going to go ahead and dive in, and I'm going to kick off with a video. This video is going to talk about the law of one, and then we'll do a physical study, or I should say digital study together on screen share. So enjoy.
If you've ever felt like you're here for a reason, or that Earth has always felt a little off, this video might explain why. The law of one, also known as the raw contact, is a profound spiritual philosophy channeled in the 1980s through 3 dedicated individuals. It's centered around the idea that all things, seen and unseen, are ultimately one unified being. It may sound simple, but the implications are enormous. It speaks to your soul, especially if you've always sensed that life is more than what we're taught. So, how did this begin? The channeled entity called Ra came through a woman named Carla Ruckert. She wasn't just reading messages. She entered a deep trance state where her conscious self stepped aside, allowing Ra to speak directly through her. She was supported by Don Elkins, a physicist and spiritual seeker who asked the questions, and Jim McCarty, the one who kept the records and grounded the sessions. Together, they created a sacred space for these transmissions, aligning crystals, reading Bible passages, and saying protective prayers to maintain a high vibration. In total, 106 sessions were held, and what came through was mind-blowing. Channeling, by the way, is the process of allowing a higher consciousness, whether that be a spirit, angel, galactic being, or even a future version of yourself, to express itself through you. It can be verbal, written, or intuitive. It's not imagination. It's not delusion. When done with care and protection, it becomes a pure transmission of divine wisdom. The person channeling is simply the vessel. The most important teaching Ra shared is simple, but deep. All is one, and one is all. Everything you see, trees, stars, people, even sadness or fear, is the same consciousness experiencing itself in infinite forms. You are not a part of the universe. You are the universe expressing itself as you. There is no separation. That's the illusion. Now, many spiritual texts echo this truth, but what makes Ra's material different is how it maps the path of evolution through something called densities. According to Ra, existence unfolds through 8 densities, like octaves in music, each representing a different level of consciousness. First density is beingness, the realm of the elements, fire, water, air, earth. They have atomic bodies and represent the raw materials of creation. Second density is growth. Here we find plants, animals, bacteria, and crystals. Life begins to evolve toward awareness, governed by instinct and biological will. Third density is self-awareness. This is where humans are. We can say, I am, and we can choose. We have free will, and it's the most crucial density, because it's where we decide how we want to evolve, whether we serve others or serve ourselves. Fourth density is love. It's the realm of unity, where beings understand that to help others is to help themselves. Compassion becomes the guiding force. Jesus brought these teachings to humanity. Earth has recently shifted into this density, and many are awakening because of it. This density still has a physical body, but the energy is far more heart-centered. Fifth and sixth densities are wisdom and unity. In these densities, we become light beings, no longer bound by chemical bodies. Time becomes non-linear. The veil of forgetting lifts. We move beyond identity, beyond separation, and closer to the original source. Now here's the kicker. Ra says that at the end of a third density cycle, which is where Earth is now, there is something called the harvest. This is the moment souls are evaluated. Those who've chosen to serve others, who've loved and grown, graduate into the fourth density. Those who haven't, repeat the cycle. Service to others doesn't mean being a saint. It means genuinely caring, helping when you can, offering love, compassion, or simply a smile. If your intention is to uplift, even in small ways, you're aligning with fourth density energy. Earth, right now, is going through a massive shift. And while the world may seem chaotic, that's part of the process. Old systems are crumbling, the veil is thinning, and more people are waking up to their divine nature. One of Ra's most beautiful teachings is the veil of forgetting. Before we incarnate here, we agree to forget who we truly are. It sounds cruel, but it's a divine design. Because true free will can only exist if we don't remember the game. We come here blind, and then we awaken. That awakening, that's the soul remembering its light. Now let's talk about wanderers. According to Ra, not all souls on Earth are native to third density. Some come from higher densities, fourth, fifth, even sixth, and choose to incarnate here to assist humanity through its harvest. These beings are called wanderers. Wanderers are often highly sensitive, empathetic, and spiritually curious from a young age. They may feel like Earth isn't their home, or experience depression and disconnection. That's because they're not from here, not originally. They volunteered to descend into a more difficult density to help raise the collective frequency. But like everyone else, they pass through the veil. They forget who they are. Their challenge is to awaken, to remember, and to live their mission, which is simply to embody love and light, not by preaching, but by being. You might be a wanderer if you've always felt different. If you've looked up at the stars with a sense of homesickness, if the suffering of others feels unbearable to witness, and if you've always wanted to help, even without knowing why. Wanderers often activate during times of global or personal crisis. When they do, their vibration shifts, and they start attracting synchronicities, soul connections, and higher guidance. Their presence alone can uplift entire communities. When their incarnation is complete, wanderers usually return to their native density, unless they choose to stay and help again. Their greatest power is the remembrance of who they are. So whether you're a wanderer, a newly awakened soul, or simply someone who's always known there's more to life, the law of one has something to offer you. It doesn't ask for belief, just openness. Because the truth is, you are not alone. You never were. You are part of a cosmic family, a radiant spark of the infinite creator, and you are here now, for a reason. You are the universe, waking up to itself. And the more you remember, the more love flows through you. That's what the shift is about. That's what the harvest is about. And that's why you're here. We are all one. One is all. And love is the key to everything.
We are all one. Love is the key to everything. We're going to take a pause, and then we'll be back to go over our study.
3 days in Ohio's forest will transform your spiritual journey forever, camping included. This isn't your typical retreat. We're talking about the summer solstice, 2026, where divine masculine energy meets ancient healing in the heart of Zaleski State Forest. Picture this: floating sound baths on Lake Hope, ecstatic dance under the stars, and shamanic ceremonies that awaken something deep within you. Sacred Kingdom Community is creating a space where fathers, sons, and spiritual seekers come together for the ultimate solstice celebration. You'll craft dream catchers, experience Anubis obsidian healing, and flow with conscious artists like Evan Sturgeon and Aura de Prophet. Marcus ChristoLight will guide you through cacao ceremonies and sound healing that'll shift your entire frequency. This is your tribe, a safe space to be vulnerable, gain wisdom, and connect with your divine masculine power. June 19th through 22nd. Tickets start at just $99. Don't let this transformation pass you by. Check the description for registration details and join us in the forest.
All right, now we're going to talk about the Law of One. The Law of One, this text is on ascensionglossary.com for everybody that would like to tune in and study on their own. And to start, the Law of One is the comprehension that all things are made of intelligent energy from a source or creator, and they are all a part of the All One. The Law of One contains the sacred sciences, which explain the mechanics of Christ consciousness that comprise the natural laws that are governing the universal creation. All One is the recognition that the eternal truth is eternal love, and that state of eternal love is the organic consciousness of infinite creator or God source. Eternal love consciousness embodied within a form is referred to as unity intelligence and is simultaneously recognized as the inner light of Christos. Unity consciousness is at one with God, and this unity consciousness is that which ignites the inner light of Christos, held as an eternal flame with the sacred crystal heart. The inner light of Christos, when actualized into a manifested form, is the embodiment of an eternal God human that holds the title of a cosmic citizen, and therefore is God sovereign and free. When we practice expressing loving kindness, we build unity consciousness that is directly reflected as the true nature and holy image of God's love. And this inner Holy Spirit of the sacred heart flame is eternally protected within angelic humans. And yes, we are angelic humans. We come from the light. We have a light body. And that is something that you guys can check out way back in the series. If you go to the YouTube channel, Sacred Light Broadcast Network, go to playlist, then go to Grand Rising ChristoLight. And then we have an episode about the Sophianic monad body. All right, so continuing. Be at one with all, as one is all with God. Every soul is taking the same spiritual journey, but each soul has evolved at different levels within the manifested timelines. The teachings of the Law of One describe the spiritual laws that govern angelic humanity's spiritual evolution for each dimension that exists within the universal time matrix. It is a single philosophical system of world humanism, which merges cosmology, science, human rights, and spiritualism. And you guys can check out various episodes in the series that I have about timelines, about time matrices, all these different things. So simply put, the Law of One is the universal truth that all is one. It is the truth taught by Christ when he proclaimed, "Love your neighbor as you love yourself." We are all direct expressions of the one source God. The Law of One is the energetic reality as well as a creational covenant with the guardian host founder races, the Emerald Order, Amethyst, and Gold Order, cosmic family entity of Ra, the Aurora host races from the 7 high heavens serve the crystal star in order to protect spiritual sovereignty for all races through the reclamation of the Christos mission. The Law of One is practiced by the advanced races that promote self-responsibility and accountability in our universal time matrix through the compensation of the energetic interconnection that exists between all living things. The Law of One expresses and acknowledges the interconnection, value, and interdependence of the spirit and consciousness that animates within all things. Living a lifestyle that expresses unconditional love to all creation beings brings true unity with the Godhead and develops a direct relationship with God. Thus, this is the promise of the Emerald Covenant gifted to humanity in order to achieve planetary liberation, and is the ascending path of the cosmic founders in order to achieve complete spiritual freedom from reincarnation cycles in the lower worlds during the ascension cycle. Law of One practices. There are 7 different practices that you may practice to help embody the Law of One. Number 1 is practice unity consciousness. Number 2, practice loving yourself. Number 3, practice loving others. Number 4, practice loving the earth and nature. Practice service to others. Practice consciousness expansion. And practice responsible co-creation. So if you practice these things, or find yourself naturally practicing these things, keep in mind that as you practice them, it's going to help you train, reprogram, and align you with the Law of One inside of your own self, which then correlates to outside of you. The Christos mission. The Christos mission, the term Christ or Christos used in this context, is not denoting solely to the individual being referred to as Jesus, as taught through the world religions. Christos extends way beyond all meaning associated with planetary consciousness. It actually describes the state of eternal cosmic consciousness, title given to a cosmic citizen. Service to others. When we find ourselves uncomfortable with the actions of others, we can relieve ourselves by remembering to cultivate the right attitude towards self. The Law of One is the universal truth that all is one. Thus, one who practices this understanding of the Law of One acts and makes decisions based upon his or her awareness that every action has a consequence to the self and to others. Furthermore, one who exemplifies the Law of One understands that when one person suffers, all people suffer. As oneself, God self, to be compassionate in action towards others is then to be in harmony in right relationship to self. Basic principles of service to others includes perceiving the connection of love in all things and give unconditional love and compassion towards others. Individuals are dedicated to their spiritual consciousness growth and to help others with their spiritual development. Individuals are dedicated to transforming negative ego thoughts through developing God's sovereign free behavior modeling. Individuals share information and knowledge with others as open source and unified cooperation. Individuals have a complete lack of concern for satisfying their materialistic ego needs and satisfying drives of the houses of ego. Individuals acknowledge that every person is a spiritual being on their own personal path of spiritual growth and discovery. And then lastly, individuals are committed to experiencing a shared positive reality of world humanism with others on the earth. What is world humanism? So in the interpretation of the Law of One in spiritual ascension context, it is a egalitarian philosophy for evolving humanity towards humanitarian goals. Ascension study is made as an evolutionary model for our planet and humanity to achieve spiritual freedom. The main focus is upon the inner spiritual study and reflection made upon the personal commitment to expand one consciousness and benevolence towards life. As we expand our consciousness, we shift perspective to feel our interconnection with all life and become oriented to be of service, thus reflecting inner truth. When we experience this all-encompassing spiritual energetic connection, we inherently desire to practice human kindness and seek to collaborate with developing higher structures that place value on human beings, a value system of a world humanism. Let's go over our human rights. These are our basic human rights as a being of the Creator. Number 1, I have the right to take care of myself and protect myself from being threatened physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Number 2, I have the right to set my own priorities and choose the manner I express to live on earth, as long as it does not intentionally harm others. Number 3, I have the right to express feelings, opinions, and desires. Number 4, I have the right to be treated respectfully. Number 5, I have the right to create my own happy, healthy life based in spiritual purpose. Number 6, I have the right to be God sovereign free and be given the power to be in charge of directing my energies and life force. Wow, how cool. So they actually broke down the 7 practices and how you can do them as well. So we'll go ahead and go over those real quick here in a moment. That's gonna be nice. You know what, let's actually just go ahead and continue. Let's just go ahead. So practice 1, unity consciousness. The law of 1 is the compensation. That was weird, there's a fly on the ground. And I almost stepped on it. I wonder why it's on the ground. Okay, so unity consciousness. The law of 1 is the compensation that all things are made of intelligent energy and are part of the all one. The law of 1 is a sacred science of the mechanics of consciousness and natural laws governing our universal creation. All one is the recognition that eternal truth is eternal love, and that the inner light of Christos, when actualized in form, is the embodiment of the eternal God human. Practice unity consciousness, and one is directly reflecting the image of God's love and is eternally protected. Be at one with all, and one is all with God. Practice 2, love yourself. Apply the practice of unity with all one as an extension towards loving, honoring, and respecting yourself. Acknowledge your precious life force within by holding reverence and respect for yourself in all ways. Loving yourself is an action of self-sovereignty, which is the natural state of embodying God's eternal love. Have courage to remove obstacles of pain and fear to become embodied love, as God's spirit is always found within. Practice 3, love others. As you learn to love yourself, learn to love others. Acknowledge the life force that others hold through love, reverence, and respect. This is the natural state of self-sovereignty, as you give others the same reverence for their life as you give to your own. Through practicing self-love and loving others, no approval, worth, or self-esteem issues come into question, as all is loved equally. Number 4, love earth and nature. Loving the earth and all of her creations, the kingdoms of nature, planets, animals, and minerals, which are all alive, conscious, and intelligent energy beings. Acknowledge the precious life force present in all of God's creation by holding reverence and respect for nature. Now think about how much they've reversed that in our society, to not hold reverence for nature, but to fear nature, or to take advantage of nature, or to pollute nature. So whenever we hold reverence and respect for nature, we restore balance and harmony. the intelligent energy of all of Earth's creation will respond to cooperate with humankind's energy. So the energy that we're putting out, Mother Earth is then going to reflect back to us. And that may not look pretty for some of us, even as a collective. So humans living in discord with nature create many events that are considered to be at the mercy of the untamed forces. As humans learn to live in harmony with the earth and the nature kingdom, the natural creators, creatures will align to be in harmony and cooperation with all inhabitants. So basically, we create our own natural disasters and we create our own destruction. And that is why there's been things like major floods and things of that nature, because we got out of balance too far as a collective. Practice 5, service to others. Being of service to others does not include consumptive modeling, such as victim-victimizer, parasitism, or emotional vampirism. Being of service does not hold the ego perspective of entitlement, expectation, or attachment. Practice being of service with unconditional love, naturally flowing in the moment. The energy exchange made between participants being of service to others amplifies and expands consciousness growth like no other method. The more you amplify the energetic field of being of service to others, the more joy, harmony, and gifts will be brought into your life. I definitely agree. Practice 6, consciousness expansion. Develop inner clarity and spiritual integrity. Intending to develop personal consciousness and our spiritual identity. To embody one's spiritual identity, one's mind must be initiated and disciplined. If the ego is in authority of the body, it will repel the spiritual identity from embodiment. If the mental body creates obstacles to the spiritual identity, therefore, the consequence, consciousness, will not be experienced. The first step to consciousness expansion is becoming aware of mind control in the quality content of thoughts and belief systems. The second step is to cooperate with the process of mental and physical discomfort by having patience and waiting in the void of silence. Learn to quiet the mind, sublimate the ego mind, and be still. Once stillness, mental discipline, and ego sublimation has been achieved, listen to your inner spirit to receive guidance. Inner guidance will always lead to the process of re-education to experience continual conscious expansion, free of fear and dogma. The inner Christos always guides one towards choosing more love and peace via consciousness expansion, the spiritual identity. And then the last one, practice 7, responsible co-creation. The intelligent blueprint activates the divine purpose of being as a co-creator with God. The spiritual identity and intelligence blueprint and divine purpose are one and the same. Clarity of purpose and direction becomes clearer and clearer as one commits the life in service to the principle of all one, or Christ's Spirit. Knowing and living our purpose brings joy, peace, and fulfillment, even when facing adversity and challenges. Once we achieve direct knowing, we are responsible for that knowing and practice responsible co-creation with the All One. A responsible co-creator knows all manifestations are in partnership with the All One. We do not possess or control anything, so needs, desires, and superimposing will should be avoided. We are stewards of God's Spirit to serve as others in responsible co-creation with All One. From this knowing and living the principle, we are eternally free of karmic exchanges. Spiritual principles to remember. There are many paths that lead to the All One. Every person will have a unique path to connect to God's source. When we concentrate our ultimate focus on the oneness rather than the self, we expand our spiritual power and effectiveness in the world. Our spiritual practice should feel right for us and be at our personal capacity and spiritual level. Our spiritual practice should be relative to current times The new spiritual adept will start to move their focus from physical actions and matter to focus upon the subtle energies and forces around us. All resources are given by God, and we should use these resources to serve as part of our spiritual practice. There are necessary principles of behavior, practices, and belief systems that humanity is required to learn in order to achieve spiritual freedom and sovereignty by committing to re-educate themselves to expand consciousness into high-frequency realities that allow them to progress into the future timelines during the ascension cycle. And then lastly, kindness above all. It is very clear to most of us that we are part of something humongous that is happening on planet Earth. The planetary ascension impacts everyone and has personal implications that hold different meanings that are very intimate to each person. Connecting with their soul, connecting to God's source is very personal and unique to each individual. As a part of the human race, we all know what it means to suffer horribly in emotional pain and feel completely alone in the darkness. As we endure the ascension cycle, remember it is about kindness above all. Honor where we are at. Take the time you need. Allow yourself the space to heal. Find the compassion and kindness for yourself. As you strengthen your core and expand your sphere of influence in the world, then practice random acts of kindness towards others. 1 second of criticism, sarcasm, belittling, or hateful words can mar and scar a child and a person for life. 1 second of kindness can elevate a child or person to accomplish greatness that allows them to find their soul and God connection. The soul is kind and loving. God is kind and loving. Wow. I guess I'll go ahead and read this as well. Connecting directly with God in Christ. When we connect directly with God, the most important thing for us to understand, especially on this path of anchoring, foundational stabilization, and heart-based coherence, is to recognize ourselves as part and parcel of God consciousness without any intermediary identity. What that means is when you directly connect with God or Christ, you know that Christ is the physicalization of God. Christ is not only the figure of Jesus, embodying perfect peace. Christ, the cosmic Christos, is a God, sovereign, free, cosmic citizen energy. And this potential is the ultimate destiny and ascension path for all of us. Then it talks about the Emerald Founder Records. The Founder Records are referred to as the Emerald Covenant, and this comprises the Agatarian philosophy of the Law of One, which originally belonged to all the human 12 tribes, and were the principal spiritual teachings that were commonly understood during the Lemurian and early Atlantean timelines. Each holographic disc was protected and administered by an assigned Mahi Grail King on the Earth, who acted as the main guardian of the planetary stargate of this tribe. The Emerald Founder Records contain explicit knowledge about the origins, genetics, and purpose of the human race, which included historical timeline accounts of galactic history considered to be the divine birthright of all angelic humans. This data was compiled upon a master copy of 12 holographic discs and were known as the Emerald Founder Records, which contained the basis for describing the consciousness mechanics of reality, manifestation, and the unification of all expressions with the eternal loving one God source. The Emerald Founder Records included explicit ancient wisdom, teachings on the unifying principles, the cosmic sovereign law of one, in which humans were directly taught how to spiritually activate their light body through consciousness training methods so they could achieve full liberation as a cosmic Christos. Wow. AscensionGlossary.com. At it again. The Law of One. I trust that brought some clarity to those of us that have been open to receive. Welcome in, Raven. Good to see you in the space. Oof. The law of one. If you guys have any comments, any questions, any reflections to add, feel free to put it in the comments. This is a very live, interactive space. Share this episode too, if you don't mind. I feel like we could all use a refresher on what the law of one is and what the law of one means. Now, something that I actually don't really see in this is that it doesn't really mention any individuals. So, individuals that represent the law of one, as there are different beings in each dimension that uphold the organic blueprint, that is where the Ascended Masters come in. It is also where the Archangels come in, as well as other multidimensional beings. And what I mean by that is, in each dimension, there's a different ray of light as well. And with each ray of light, there's a different council. And we kind of went over this in the last episode. And these councils have archangelics. The archangelics act as the messengers that go in between, sending the messages between the heavenly realms and the earthly realms. Then you have the Ascended Masters. The Ascended Masters are the ones that stay in the heavenly realms. And then they're able to shapeshift themselves into different personas to present themselves to you. And the archangelics can shapeshift as well, due to being in the higher dimension. So the archangelics will come to you as orbs. They will come to you as feathers, angel numbers, as well as human-looking angels. And then you have the ground crew. The ground crew is folks like myself, and I'm sure some of you guys, the starseeds that are here on the earth, that are aware that they're here on a mission and that they're connected to their star family. So there's different layers or levels, or if you want to say councils and categories, where we all exist in different bodily forms in order to help maintain and uphold the organic integrity of the balance of the universal oneness. So that is what the law of one means. So when you think about Ra, you think about Anubis, you think about Thoth, you think about Yeshua, Yogananda, Buddha, all these different characters throughout time. They were all helping preach the law of one. Not only were they preaching it, but they were also acting in it, embodying it, and being an example of it to help show others how to embody it and anchor it into this planetary grid as well. So it's very fascinating, and that's why we have these spirit guides, these angels that are just so eternal, basically. Like, no matter what year we were born or when we became aware of the archangels or the Ascended Masters, their presence was already here, and it's been here. It's just us becoming aware. And it's always when we're ready. Everyone is exactly where they need to be, as we talked about in this Law of One study. Yes, no doubt. Definitely tap in on the replay and watch the first half. Definitely gotten some good stuff. And I also played a video as well. I'm actually going to be playing a video here in a minute, and it's going to talk about some techniques and practices of the Law of One that we can introduce into our daily life to help embody this. All right, so again, that is ascensionglossary.com for everybody. I'll go ahead and put that on the screen. ascensionglossary.com. Come on, AI. You got it. Come on. There we go. AscensionGlossary.com. Right here on the screen for you guys. It's a great glossary index where you can literally just type in and research anything galactic, anything cosmic, anything about timelines, mind control, false programming. You can learn about the negative agenda. You can learn about the different flames and different rays of light. So many different things through that website. It's definitely a great resource. I just got this pyrite copper piece not too long ago. I think I got it at the Tucson Gem Show. All right. And also too, Raven, just a refresher for you. In the beginning of this episode, I pulled a card from the Egyptian Book of the Dead Oracle. Pretty awesome deck, I know. And it's just so crazy. The card that I pulled was Ra. And if you know anything about the Law of One, Ra was literally like the deliverer of the raw material Law of One, where he helped channel and bring a deeper perspective of what the Law of One means through a group of individuals, humans, that channeled Ra and wrote 5 different books called the Raw Material. So it's just interesting that the topic today was the Law of One, and then Ra came out in the Oracle. And last night in my episode about the Raw Material in the podcast that I have, the Eye of Ra came out as the card last night. So a lot of raw energy today and yesterday, and it's just very intriguing. Connect with that as you may. So now we're going to go ahead and move into this final video. This final video is going to be about techniques of the Law of One. So this is a very integrative study or integrative video that's going to help you understand how you can do things in your daily human life to help integrate and embody the Law of One principles and ultimately become more of a beacon of shining your clarity into this world. So feel free to grab a journal or anything that you feel and take notes as well if you would like.
I love this quote because it hammers home that all is one. And it does it by saying not only that all is one, but that there is no polarity, no right and wrong, no disharmony, only identity. Now, in third density, that's simply not true. There is polarity. This is the density of polarity. They're from sixth density, and they're from the density of unity, and they have earned the right to say there is no polarity because they have moved to the point where they include both polarities in their thinking processes, and it comes out positive. I don't know how it happens. It's going to take me a few densities to learn that, but for those of Ra, this is the way things are. Of course, there's right and wrong in this density. If we didn't know right from wrong, we'd be in a terrible muddle. If we didn't all drive down the right side of the street, when some of us took their part out of the middle, and some drove on the left, and some drove, well, we just never get anywhere. So, obviously, there is right and wrong at that level, fundamental level of human courtesy and protocol, so that everybody can get along and do their thing. Of course, there's disharmony in third density. There's disharmony all the time. There's disharmony every time we rub up against each other, and it doesn't suit us both. We are in a state from morning until night where we're very vulnerable to being thrown off of our balance and feeling disharmonious. So we know for sure that we're not in the middle of sixth density, because this is a place where there is polarity, there is right and wrong, there is disharmony, and it's very difficult to say that there is identity in third density. And yet, the overarching picture, the picture that the Law of One asks us again and again to look at, is that there truly is only identity. I am one with everything I see. I am one with everybody I see. I am one with nature. I am one with myself. And that is an identity. And the identity is through the Creator. It's not person to person. It's namaste. It's the Creator in me salutes the Creator in you. There is where the identity is. The Creator in me is the identity with the Creator in everybody else. And if we can remember that when we are talking to somebody else, we're talking to the Creator, it will really help us with that identity. Because if we can keep it in mind, then we can be agents of love and light in this world. I certainly hope I am. And I think all of us can be voices of love and voices of light. As the mood takes us, as inspiration takes us, and as our internal tuning shines out through our eyes, we don't have to say a thing. Yet still, the silence is a voice of love.
All right, guys. In case if you guys haven't got the memo yet, in this episode, we discover that we are all one. There's no way around it. The all is one. How can anything exist if it is not part of the source? Does anybody have an answer that is present here? Raven, do you have an answer for that? How something could exist outside of the all or the one? For the collective out there, I'll wait if anyone has an answer. Exactly. There is no answer, because nothing can exist if it's not from the source. So no matter how separate we may illusionarily experience inside of our own mind that we are from source, there's still a thread of connection. And that thread of connection is literally entangled and woven within every single fabric of your existence. Every single particle is the creator. Every single cell is the creator. Every single plant around you is the creator. Now, yes, as we go into the lower densities, more and more forms are created to help represent different aspects symbolically of the source. But then as we go up the densities, it all starts to confine, as it's no longer necessary for as many forms for the lessons and experiences of the higher dimensions. And then it becomes a thinner and thinner for alpha omega bow, and then it has the different type of frequency with the attributes of that frequency. I can't remember what scale that's called, but at the top it says enlightenment. At the bottom it says fear, ignorance, stuff like that. And then like in the middle, there's like joy and excitement, stuff like that. And it's a spiral, and it has the rainbow colors as well. A consciousness spiral chart. I know it's created by someone specific. I think it's Robert Hawkins or something like that. The Hawkins scale. Help me out, someone. I know I'm hitting somewhere. Here we go. I got it. I'll pull it up. The Hawkins scale. So this right here, this is pretty cool. So this is what I'm talking about right here. And this is what I love about these spaces, is that these correlations just happen in the moment. I definitely had no plan of correlating this. But this right here is an example showing us of what I just described. See how it says ascending at the top? And then you see at the bottom it says descending. So that's literally what that means. Ascending is upward energy, descending is downward. Now, put that into context as us as human beings. We're on an ascension journey, which means we are raising our frequency as a human being in this journey. Now, although we are raising it, that's the intention, the mission, we are also subject to this whole entire scale because we are this whole entire scale embodied. So that's where balance comes in. And then if you look at this chart as well, it correlates to the chakra system. The chakra system starts with the red at the bottom, the root chakra, then travels up the orange and yellow to the green in the center. And if you see here, there's a line in the middle. That is for the green, which is also the heart chakra, the human. And then from that heart, you then ascend into your higher intelligence centers or your godly centers. And that's where all these attributes come in. I'll zoom in a little bit for you guys. We talked about a lot of these attributes here throughout this episode because these attributes are what help you ascend in your own consciousness, in your own embodiment, in your own daily life, to be able to have a more Christ-like life or a Christ-conscious life or a life more aligned and attuned to the law of one. So that's why Ra, myself, others, we're here helping remind each other of these type of principles and this type of knowledge. Now think about just from a broad observation, not attached. Think about our world and our societies, especially right now in this time. Okay, look at these words up here on the top half. Do we see a lot of these words present right now in our society, like as a collective? Let's be honest. How many of these words do we really see happening a lot right now? Like, I don't even know if I can honestly claim one of these words that's in the top half of our frequency that I can see super present right now in our human collective. I mean, yes, you'll see bits and pieces and you'll attract it around you because of where you're at. But to like see large collectives right now in this human population embodying these ways, I just don't see it too much. And integrity too. At the very top, it says 100% integrity. Think about integrity. What level of integrity are we talking about here? We're talking about the integrity of, not showing up to work? Or are we talking about the integrity of remembering that we are all God's sovereign free individuals that are on a human journey and that we all have free will? Which means I don't need to be codependent of anyone. And I also need to control anyone. And I don't need to heal anyone or fear for anyone. That's integrity. That's spiritual integrity. When we're out of spiritual integrity, that's when we become codependent-like. That's when we control others. That's when we get in cycles over and over because of our own ego. So then you look at the bottom half of this chart, and this is like almost disgusting just to like think about in this moment from a like, if I had to really use my words, like just disgusting to think about. How many of these words here on the bottom half of this spiral, which is the descending spiral, can you find very common in our society right now, in our human collective? I mean, from a consciously gross standpoint, almost too many of these words are very, very prevalent and taking over the population of our society. Oof. I hate to put you guys through this feeling in the moment, but there's a reason we got to look at this and face this right now. A lot of these words are very primary and at the forefront of our collective right now. This is why we came to Earth, people. Like, this is a true mission. This is the dirtiest of the dirtiest. That's not even getting into the things that they're doing to humans. The children, the women, the emasculating of the men, the breaking of the family dynamics. I mean, holy smokes. Goes on and on. Raw's hitting today, though. Raw is definitely coming through. So our goal is, try to get more folks to this, at least this center, this middle ground, neutrality, and then start working them back up into these upper, a lot of these upper qualities people innately have, but it gets bogged out, it gets drained, it gets taken advantage of as time goes. So that's why we got to learn our boundaries, our integrity, our personal responsibilities, as that is also part of the law of one. What a great episode. Yes, everything in the lower densities keeps us in a soul trap. Each wound that goes unhealed will create an energy leak. Our core frequency is a symphony of all of our healed and unhealed wounds. We ascend with inner growth and releasing our pain from our facets or from our fascia. Wow. Excellently worded. Well said. Well said. Yeah, and the fascia tissue. The fascia is a great subject in itself as well, and how it stores the energy imprints and stores the experiences, and then how that can manifest into mental, emotional, and physical disease. Really good stuff today. Well, I guess with that, we can get ready to wrap this episode up. Unless there's anything else that Ra feels needs to come through in this moment. I don't think so. So with that being said then, this is my time where I'm just going to go ahead and remind you all that I am a one-on-one shamanic space holder. So if you would like to sit down and have a free consultation session to just talk about your struggles, be vulnerable, talk about the things that you need some assistance with in your daily life, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, feel free to reach out to me. You guys can scan this QR code up in the corner, or you can visit the link down below in the ticker or in the description as well, and that'll take you to my link page. And my link page, you'll be able to take a look and browse any of my one-on-one services I offer, which I do online and in person. If you're a practitioner or someone of many different trades and exchanges, I do like to do trades and exchanges, so it doesn't always have to be money. I offer Reiki, 3 different forms of Reiki, Asui, Sekam from Egypt, as well as Ascended Master techniques. I also help with inner child healing, subconscious reprogramming, guided meditations, Akashic soul origins, as well as life guidance for shadow work, daily patterns, and reconstructing our holistic being. With that, you can also check out the retreats I have coming up, and you can register directly through the QR code and going to the retreat section. And then you can also get organic, clinical grade reishi coffee. And then lastly, you guys can also check out the catalog of the Sacred Kingdom community, a worldwide community of practitioners, artists, and organic product makers. You guys can find this all at the QR code in the corner, The link's in the ticker and in the description as well. If you guys have any questions, reach out and I will gladly be here for you. Sounds good. I appreciate what you're doing. Keep it up. Have a great day. Thank you, Raven. I appreciate you being in the space, sharing your comments. Take care as well and have a great day. If you ever want to be a guest, you can also be a guest on these podcasts. If you want to share some knowledge and wisdom for the collective, or even a healing practice or modality, anything of that nature for conscious, holistic living for our collective, feel free to message and reach out. And we can have you come on as a guest as well. With that being said, if you would like your own podcast, I am someone that does offer my production skills to help you have your own podcast tailored directly to you, and also bring you into collaborations. All right, man. What a great episode today. I am just feeling so full and overflowing with this awareness of the law of one and the way that it came through today. I trust that it's going to benefit and bring clarity to those that are ready. I will see you guys soon, next week on Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern, where we will begin our sub-series into the individual Ascended Masters. You guys will learn about each Ascended Master in its own individual episode, get to learn the origin, the human life history, as well as the attributes and reasons why they are an Ascended Master now. Wholeness and one love. (2023) Mother Gaia, third dimensional planet, ascending. Thank you from the Sacred Light Broadcast Network and Sacred Light Productions for tapping in and tuning in to all live and replay content, holistic, conscious, for your empowerment. Tap in to the ChristoLight within. Please like, share, and subscribe. And remember that you are the one that you have been looking for. Enjoy this content. If you would like to collaborate or receive production through myself, Marcus ChristoLight, direct message or email me at marcustut23@gmail.com to discuss details. Wholeness and balanced love. Ashe.